he had a nice metal detecting shop. He put on a hunt, and I happened to notice somebody walking by with a shovel that looked almost like ours. I'm like looking at that. And then when he come back, it was bent, and it was a 12-year-old kid who bent the shovel. I'm like, wow. And it was brand new, and the guy wanted to trade it in on one of ours. I told him, I'm sorry, but we don't take trade-ins, especially damaged goods.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Like, put it this way. Let me explain one thing also. The steel that we use, we only use the best American-made steel. They call it chromoly 4130. And we could technically cut costs if we bought Chinese steel. But one time, just for my own reference, I bought some just to test it, just to see what would happen. And it's split right down the middle, not across, but right down the seam. And this came with what we call like our steel comes with certification. And the steel that they had the same certifications as American-made steel. It wasn't even close to what it should be. So you get what you pay for, literally.
Oh man, yeah.
I was astounded how fast it broke, and it went through the same heat treating process. Everything was identical when it was all run, but you're not getting the quality tool that you think you are when you're buying stuff from China. I can guarantee you. I know firsthand because I personally did the testing on it.
Wow.
And that's
I was unimpressed.
That was Diggin' Buddy in chat said, pretty sure he's seen some.
American made is what we try to do. Even our sheaths, the sheaths, the steel, the paint, the boxes, everything right on down the line is supporting American jobs, but with quality.
Right. And that's why I love using American-made stuff, American-made products, like Garrett made in America, and then your tools are made in America, family-owned business. You and Pam do an amazing job. I've always heard nothing but good about your tools and products. And we got a question in chat here. Let's see. From Jersey Ray Diggs, and she's from, New Jersey. She was asking if Pam went to Joe DiMarchio's memorial hunt.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was there with my grandson, but Pam was in and out of there a few times.
Okay.
But no, Joe was a good friend. Matter of fact, he got me my first Predator Tools hat. I found it on my back doorstep when I came in.
That's awesome.
I'm still wearing it to this day. And 15 some years, it's falling apart, but I'm gluing it back together. No, it is. I glued it tonight. The little buttons in the back are pulling out.
Oh, wow.
It's great for when I'm welding. I just turn my hat on backwards and stuff, and it actually has holes burnt in the top of it from welding so much.
Sparks. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, it sounds like a very special hat, too.
It is. It got sentimental value.
Definitely.
Now, going back finding out, how did you get into treasure hunting?
For matter of fact, my old history teacher, I happened to stop by his house, and he was actually selling a rifle. And looking at it, and I turned around and see his metal detector in the corner, and it was the White's 6000. And I said, Bill, you know something? I think I'd rather buy that off you. He said, George, he says, if you want it, you can have it. I'll give it to you. And that's what I started off with, was a White 6000.
Wow.
And that was back in the late 70s. And,
that is too cool.
Yeah, one of the first things I found was a cast iron Model T, which I still have. I had a few people wanting to buy it, and I said, nah, it's not for sale. It was like my first real good find. But
right.
It's been fun, me and Pam. Like, whenever we pass 5 times, she's kicked my butt. Yes.
What did she find lately?
I think what was it, Pam? The reel? Yes, she found a real.
Awesome.
Oh, man, really?
Yes.
What year? You know?
I couldn't tell. It was pretty white, but you could see what it was.
Man.
Luckily, there was a good friend of ours who owns a property that was in 1812. It was a training ground for the militia. And we find like tent spikes, musket balls, coins here and there. A lot of the coins are pretty heavy hit, but from the ground action, it's really strange. You got the Cohansey River going through Cumberland County. And on one side of the river, you can find a coin, like I found one, 1757, and it looked like a piece of pocket change. And then, but if you go on the other side of the river, the ground is real corrosive. I don't know, I can't explain why or what, but it usually eats up the copper. It doesn't mess with the silver or gold any, but it tears the copper up quite a bit.
It's crazy.
But then again, on that side, I found my first chain scent, my first and only chain scent.
Oh, wow. You found a chain scent.
And that was on that was on the side that the soil is corrosive?
Yep.
And you could still see what it is?
Yep. One side was wiped completely, but the other, you could see the chain, and it said 1 cent. That was neat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's an epic find. That is an epic find. So, what machines are y'all currently using?
Mostly Mind Lab. Like, I think one of our favorites is a Sovereign.
Okay.
And I can't even begin. You might say I paid for that one with $0.015, because the chain scent, that brought like 400, and then I found a 1797 halfpenny, which was in pretty decent shape, and that brought like 150. And I think when we bought the machine, our cost was $550. So we literally paid for it with $0.015.
That's awesome.
I love it. Oh, man, how many people can say that? That is too neat. So
I tell you, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, like we like from time to time hitting the Jersey Shore too. There's some good picking from time to time. 2009. Matter of fact, it's on the internet, so I don't think it matters if I tell you any more or not. They were dredging off of a place called Strathmere, and they hit a treasure ship. And one of the last things that I talked to Joe DeMarco about was if he ever found out the name of the ship, which he did, which is the Fame. And they hit gold and silver and just pumped it all over the beach of Strathmere. Oh, wow. And, well, luckily I found out about it on the tail end of it, but it was pretty neat. The coins were from 1778 to 1780, I believe, and they were like new condition, but they were all black. When you pulled the silver out of the ground, well, not out of the ground, out of the beach, they were black. Right. Mm-hmm. But luckily I found that one in the surf. But other people found a lot more than that. But like I said, I caught the tail end of it. But Pam, she's found reals down the shore. I think it was Cape May. Yeah, Cape May. She found a real down there, and Matter of fact, the wedding band I'm wearing right now, I found down at Cape May. I wore my original one out, so I got my replacement.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So what is your favorite find that you've ever found?
Be honest with you, I found quite a few things. I found plates, Civil War plates, SNY, a couple breastplates. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a real quick story. What is it? Huh? Oh, like Pam says, bottles. I used to have ground penetrating radar. I was at a site down in Virginia, and everybody kept coming up to me, you find me a spot? Well, I found some people's spots, but the next day I left it behind. But what I did, when I went around, I had a really good signal. When I got on top of it, I would dig my heel into the ground, and to mark a spot where nobody's basically seeing what I'm doing, and I kept moving along after that. Well, the next day I came back, and I went back to those spots, and on one of them I got into a beautiful trash pit, beautiful bottles, plates, buttons, bullets, canteen, and matter of fact, some of the bottles, it got so big, the whole, I had like 5 other people I let get in the hole with me because it just kept getting bigger. We took turns. One person dig, you find an artifact, next person gets in, and just kept rotating it. Because I knew if I didn't get this thing cleaned out by the end of the day, by nightfall, these people would be coming back because there were so many people gathered around.
Wow.
I got beautiful bottles out of it. But what I was going to tell you, Pam had me putting bushes in the side of the house. Like, as soon as you walk out the back door, the bushes went out. And I'm putting these bushes in because our house is 1869. And when I pulled this one bush out, something come flopping out, and it was like the size of a plate, and I flipped it over. Sure enough, it was a breastplate. All the times I've walked past it, and all the times I went down south looking for them, I went in the house screaming. She thought I got hurt. I was so excited about it. We have that on display now. Yeah.
That is so neat. Right in your own backyard, right as you walk out, huh?
Right out the back door. It used to be the coal chute. They used to have a coal chute right there where I found it.
Oh, wow.
Where they used to load the house.
That is cool. So I guess you
when we bought
detected
house,
the rest of your yard as well, I'm sure.
Well, we found some stuff, and I wouldn't say much in coins. The original family, which this area is named after, my son was out there metal detecting, and he found a bunch of the silverware buried out in the yard, and it had W's on it for Woodruffs.
Oh.
And then the original lady of the house, Elizabeth, we found her silver spoon that had her name engraved into it. That was neat.
That is too neat when you can connect it to the history of the house that you live in.
Mm-hmm. Some of the finds are pretty neat. We find Indian artifacts. Matter of fact, the gentleman who used to live next door, who passed away, he had one of the biggest Indian artifact collections, which is currently housed in the library in Bridgeton. And just walking the back fields here, found an Indian arrowhead on the top. And right in my yard, we were doing some excavating, and I found like a stone bowl where the center was, you could see how rounded out it was. And then I found the opposite end where it fit perfectly in your hand for like mulching up smashing your food down. Like a pulverizer.
Like a mortar.
That was neat. I got both of them pieces.
That's awesome.
That is too neat. Neat.
Now, you said you ran the GPR. How long did you do that for? Do you still run the?
Now, I sold